at this magnificent view. The world's a crazy place right now, but don't worry, we'll still be here. We'll see you again soon.
International University of Management, a Namibian university dedicated to its people's future, a hub of abundant opportunities.
We are IUL for life. We are IUL.
Good evening, I'm Maggie for Cigaro. In the news tonight, patients at Commersdal Dental Clinic urged to make use of alternative health facilities. NCHE hands over certificates to institutions of higher learning. Corruption has long-term consequences on the economy, says NOAA. Namibia Zam Seed serves the needs of local farmers in northern Namibia. And round up Business on One, Comments Corner, Sports and the weather. Patients arriving at the Commersdal Dental Clinic are being sent home as the facility claims that it is unable to assist more than 10 patients a day. The Ministry of Health and Social Services said that they are aware of the situation and urged patients to approach other dental facilities.
Today on One, caught up with some patients who had queued up since 4 o'clock in the morning, when they were informed that only 10 patients can be assisted per day.
I have a problem here. I came here Tuesday around 6 and I did not get any help. Then I came yesterday at 5, same story. Again today around 2 in the morning. Now the question is, until when we'll be coming here but no help? We just want to find out where is the problem. And imagine you are spending more than 100 a week just for nothing. We want to find out where is the problem. We are sick and tired of this. We are paining.
Metiari ngandika fa ko spangolo ko sentera anja mukuru wako kutia itandi vuro ku kwasero ko inandi tumino ko nandi eko katutura itandi vuro ku jike ndukira ko sentera inandi tumino ko ngandi siko ngandi ko katutura hinda ko katutura ngandi rombora kuti akwaseri ke anumba eno emergency namba zimembete namba eno follow-up.
The executive director Ben Nangobe confirmed that the Health Ministry is aware of the complaints, noting that some dental equipment is malfunctioning and sent for repair, thus urging patients to seek other alternatives.
So if there are more than that, then it would mean that maybe those that are over the number cannot be seen because of the limitation that is there. No, persons with critical conditions can attend to other, or can approach other health facilities. The Central Hospital is open, the Cathedral Hospital is open, the Cathedral Health Center is also open. There are several facilities the patients can go, particularly if they are in critical condition. If they are in critical condition, surely they can be helped at the health facilities such as the Cathedral Hospital, which has a rather large visual. If there is a case like that, surely it cannot be correct that a person is in pain, they condition and they are sent away. I don't know exactly the circumstances of that particular case, but I can check with the head of the dental unit in the ministry, because a critical condition is a critical condition, an emergency is an emergency, and it must be treated as such. The state dental patients are seen in state facilities. For people, for example, who have got medical aid, they can be seen by private doctors. But if it is a state patient who does not have medical aid, the services can be obtained in public health facilities, as I indicated. So the facilities are available either at Omastar Clinic or Katsura State Hospital and others. That is where these services can be obtained. In them, in other hospitals around the country, the facilities can also be accessed at our district hospitals around the country.
Nangobe also advised patients who have medical aid to approach private practices and state patients to make use of other public health facilities.
Every Saturday at 7 p.m., you can stay true to Namibia Sounds with the Valentine's True Music Sessions. Only on 99 FM. Stay tuned. Stay true. There's no wrong way. Valentine's. Not for sale to persons under the age of 18. Drink responsibly.
The National Council of Higher Education hosted a ceremony in Windhoek where they awarded registration certificates and audit reports to a number of higher learning institutions.
The NCHE held the ceremony to mark the registration of private higher learning institutions that have entered the sector, as well as the handover of the first ever audit reports and accreditation of programs at established institutions.
It is a milestone in the life of the National Council of Higher Education. This ceremony further memorable in that for the first time National Council of Higher Education conducted program, accreditation and institutional audit exercises virtually due to the COVID pandemic.
The National Council of Higher Education, which falls under the Line Ministry, is responsible for ensuring equitable quality education. The Minister of Higher Education, Training and Innovation applauded the agency for the audit reports that were done virtually.
It is reassuring that Namibia continues to expand its higher education sphere and that existing institutions continue to develop new programs to adapt to a changing world. Indeed, to adapt to a changing world. Higher education institutions should continuously engage and actively strengthen research in emerging fields. As an example, the recently launched Green Hydrogen Initiative requires skills, capacity, as well as continuous research. I implore higher education institutions to find ways of contributing to the Green Hydrogen Initiative through research and the development of relevant programs to support this initiative.
The Vice-Chancellor for the International University of Management noted that the audit report submitted for the IUM serves as a benchmark for a similar exercise in the future and indicate that it would help the institution with their strategic 5-year plan.
Your report, being the first for IUM, serves as a benchmark for similar exercises in future. And for us, the indicators generated are also useful for monitoring the implementation of our current 5-year strategic plan 2020 to 2025. We have noted that the report highlights commendations in specific areas where your evaluators felt quite satisfied, and also provides recommendations in areas of improvement. We consider this a balanced report. We shall relish your recommendations, your commendations, and continue to sustain or even improve on them, while we look forward to renewed effort to focus on improved performance with regard to the recommendations made in your report.
It was a memorable event where Sunshine Private College received their NCHE registration certificate as a college, as well as Namibia University of Science and Technology received accreditation on a number of handed out to the IUM Institution for Open Learning and Montessori Teacher Training College.
The Anti-Corruption Commission Director General Paulus Noah recently stated that corruption has long-term economic consequences and undermines democratic governments.
Those who commit corruptions have technology know-how to do it. These days they are no longer exchanging brown envelopes under the tables. They are using technological means. Even changing the policies, if not laws, to make sure that whatever is happening looks like it is legitimate.
According to the United Nations Economic Commission for Africa, Africa loses $148 billion annually to corruption. The Director General of the ACC, speaking at this year's commemoration of International Anti-Corruption Day, highlighted the serious social and economic consequences of corruption, stating that the National Anti-Graft Body has several methodologies in place to increase the momentum of fighting corruption in an ever-changing technological climate.
The damage caused by corruption may result in long-term effects on economy and livelihood of the Namibian people. Corruption erodes the moral fabric of society and damages the ethos of democratic governments. Corruption benefits few individuals while costly to the larger society. It undermines democracy and the rule of law, leads to violation of human rights, distorts markets, and erodes the quality of life. The Anti-Corruption Commission will never relent in ensuring that effective methodologies are introduced to increase anti-corruption drive. Our goal is to improve year on year. Every year we come up with plans as to what are the methodologies that we need to adopt so that we can increase the momentum. And this is done through instances of strengthening our organizational structure, revising anti-corruption strategic plan, and reviewing the anti-corruption law in order to bring it more in line to responding to ever-changing corruption challenges.
The economic ramifications of the coronavirus pandemic is affecting millions of people in many developing nations in Africa and the global south, as many of these governments are unable to fund their own vaccines. The UNDP Deputy Resident Representative, speaking during the commemoration, stated that corruption has hampered the global collective response to fighting COVID-19 by depleting crucial resources needed to respond to and recover from the pandemic.
People across the world continue to come together to confront a virus that is upending the way we live, the way we work, and the way we cooperate. That includes everyone, from volunteer doctors and nurses who are lending their medical skills to tackle this virus, to all those providing the duty of care in home and in workplaces, to countries that are sharing vital medical supplies and millions of doses of the vaccine to block the rampaging path of COVID-19. Yet, ladies and gentlemen, yet corruption is infecting our collective response to this devastating pandemic, and no country is immune to this. It hinders our ability to ensure that everyone has access to the vaccine, causing many lives to be lost, unfortunately. Corruption is draining away valuable resources that are most needed to respond to and recover from COVID-19.
According to the ACC, since the inception of the anti-graft body until March this year, the ACC has submitted 694 cases to the Office of the Prosecutor General, who has made the decision to prosecute a total of 530 cases, and 76% of these cases have already been finalized. The United Nations Convention Against Corruption is the only global anti-corruption instrument that contributes to the achievement of the 2030 Agenda by fostering accountability, integrity, and transparency.
Win free airtime with hashtag #LearnOn1. Share your comments on the lessons. SMS your feedback, name and town to 555. Hashtag #LearnOn1. Invite learning in.
Namibia's Zam Seeds started its operations about 5 years ago, selling crop seeds to small-scale farmers, mostly in the northern parts of the country, at an affordable rate.
Supplying a variety of crop seeds to local farmers in northern Namibia, the company recently held a promotion on its products at the Katima Mililo Open Market with the aim to assist farmers to grow their own crops in order to feed their families and to generate an income.
Zam Seed is all about farmers' interest in terms of the seeds that they need. The seeds that they need include maize, cowpea, soybeans, sorghum, pure millet, groundnuts. That's for the main fields. And now for the horticultural aspects, we also have all kinds of vegetable seeds that the farmer would need. And our prices are very affordable. We are the cheapest in the country. And we welcome all the farmers that need to come to our stand, which is here. This is our one branch which we have here in Katima Mulilo.
Agrian One took the time to interview one of the workers at the company warehouse.
There are also other employees. We have a sales agronomist and he's in the field. We have a sales accountant and some other guys are dealing in the warehouse, and we have a security guard. At Namibia Zam Seed, we deal with farmers. We interact with them. We give them advice on farming basis.
With branches in Katima Mulilo and now Grootfontein, farmers are encouraged to stock up and become self-sufficient.
Speaking, reporting live from Zambezi region. Iteni Kuvazen Seed. DJ, one track. I'm very happy for this.
Early this morning, woke up holding my head, hearing my heartbeat all night long. Shades of this motel keeping me in bed, reading the news, just trying to stay strong. I need to just get up, take a deep breath, keep it together, 'cause it's a beautiful day. Sun on my face, feeling okay. Don't let it get away. It's a beautiful day. Feel so proud, screaming out loud. It's a beautiful day. Beautiful day. Feel so proud, screaming out loud. It's a beautiful day.
In other leading stories, the Bank of Namibia welcomes the reappointment of Mr. Johannes Gamagab as the governor appointed by His Excellency President Hage Geingob in terms of Article 32(4)(b)(bb) of the Namibian Constitution for a 5-year term. The President has also announced the reappointment of Mr. Epson Uanguta, who has served in the capacity of Deputy Governor since 2012 on similar terms. In a first for the country, Ms. Leonie Dunn, a formidable advocate against financial crime, has been appointed as the second Deputy Governor of the bank, the first female to serve in this capacity. Ms. Dunn demonstrates a wealth of knowledge in law and financial services regulation, spanning from an impressive record as legal practitioner of the High and Supreme Court of Namibia. She also serves as chairperson of the Bank of Namibia Provident Fund Board of Trustees and has been a member of the Law Society of Namibia since 1998. On her appointment, Ms. Dunn expressed her gratitude and enthusiasm to be part of the bank's executive team to help in the execution of the newly launched Strategic Plan 2022-2024 that fosters various approaches to the bank's transformation. The appointments complete the executive appointments at the helm of the central bank as it presides over macroeconomic stability as required of it in terms of its constitutional mandate. Furthermore, the appointment of a substantive second Deputy Director is instrumental as the bank solidifies the expansion of its mandate of macroprudential oversight in the financial system as enshrined in the Bank of Namibia Act 2020.
Nothing is too good for my daughter. Now here's the deal. Nambi, there's no playing around with other boys before your wedding. Do you understand me? It's the most important day of your life.
Nambi, baby, you have a face like a beautiful person. I got you this Virgin Mary necklace to protect your innocence.
Stupid man. We have loved each other since high school and now you want to turn your back on me? All the plans we made, you just throw them away? And you want Nambi now? When I've always been there for you, Ziwa, do you understand? And she doesn't even love you. I wasted my time on someone like you.
Don't be like that, Jalia.
Love, everybody needs it. Love.
Akili, 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 akili.
We love to wash our hands, and this is how we do it. Wash, wash with clean water. Scrub, scrub, scrub with soap. Rinse, rinse with clean water, and then the germs will go. We love to wash our hands, and this is how we do it. Wash, wash with clean water. Scrub, scrub, scrub with soap. Rinse, rinse with clean water, and then the germs will go. Yay! Well done, soap and water. You got rid of all the germs on Achilles' hands.
Joseph Shifene is standing by for Business on One.
Business on One is proudly brought to you by the Government Institutions Pension Fund.
Welcome to this evening's edition of Business on One. I'm Joseph Shifene. Namibia continues to import over half of its power needs as its energy sector is unable to generate sufficient energy for domestic use. The National Integrated Resource Plan that was first drafted a decade ago is expected to be the country's roadmap toward energy security through indigenous sources. Speaking at the Namibia Renewable Energy Business Summit held in Dubai, Minister of Mines and Energy Tom Alwendo said in his statement delivered virtually that the National Integrated Resource Plan envisages that by 2028, 80% of primary energy used will be generated locally.
It is a long-term plan that guides the development of the electricity generation industry by providing supply scenarios to meet projected demand. The plan was drafted in 2013, reviewed in 2016, and it is currently undergoing another review that is expected to be finalized early 2022. The plan maps out the country's least cost electricity supply path into the future and includes an energy mix that optimizes Namibia's goal to become energy self-sufficient by using, as far as the network allows, indigenous renewable energy sources in the form of wind, solar PV, and biomass. We will do so while also ensuring base load generation options and storage to ensure stability and security of supply.
Alwendo also welcomed Hyphen Hydrogen Energy, the company that was awarded the bid to build a green hydrogen plant in Namibia. The project is projected to generate over $60 billion Namibian once complete after 2 to 3 years.
We look forward to work together with Hyphen to realize our goal of becoming a green hydrogen hub. Given the size of the available renewable energy resources in the country, it is our intention to explore the idea of seeking other potential investors to collaborate with us. As to the global market for green hydrogen, there is now a global consensus that green hydrogen is the fuel for the future. According to a preliminary study that was done by the World Bank with regards to green hydrogen market, Namibia could produce highly competitive green hydrogen. And with limited local demand, exports will be key to our green hydrogen strategy.
The summit was attended by renewable energy developers and operators to share insight on Namibia's electricity market, regulatory environment, and role of independent power producers within the power grid and generation network.
Business on One was proudly brought to you by the Government Institutions Pension Fund.
That is all we have for you. Be sure to follow us on our social media pages for more on the business front.
Was in and out of prison, dealing and doing drugs. Then a drug deal went wrong. Joseph was robbed, handcuffed, and scared straight out of the business. For 6 months, he roamed the streets as a homeless addict. Then one night, in a baseball dugout, Joseph met a stranger who totally changed his life.
I stand in awe of the power of the God who's our creator. And Terry and I sit here on this program, and the Lord speaks to us, and it's the word of knowledge. It's one of the manifestations of the Holy Spirit.
Something not always godly.
Not always, that's right. That's right. Well, there's a lot of negative voices out there, as we
Yes, there are.
And
so how do you know when it's God saying, Perry, I want to speak this to you right now?
And sometimes you don't know. And I think you pray over it and you think about it. And sometimes you just, a lot of times I'll just envision, as you and I are talking here today, I may envision that I'm here talking with God. And how am I supposed to address this issue?
Okay? Realize Jesus is the same yesterday, today, and forever. He is the same for you right now. So let's pray. Let's call on his name and let him do the rest for you. Let's pray.
Now we look at Comments Corner, your daily dose of comments from our social media pages. Botswana's 72-hour negative polymerase chain reaction test for all travelers visiting is troubling Namibian truck drivers. They say the idea of COVID-19 vaccines becoming mandatory at borders is worrisome due to them not having sufficient knowledge on the various brands and their side effects.
Dino says drivers passing through Botswana are tested every day. Matthias notes that Botswana should not act like Israeli and Palestinian governments. Lord says people should not be forced. While Lasterhorn notes that Namibia depends on other countries importing almost everything from South Africa, asking that the drivers just get tested.
That is all from Comments Corner. Be sure to post your comments on our social media pages for broadcast only on Today on 1.
Dear teachers, we know all the hard work you put in every day to make sure our kids get the best education possible. It's also our goal here at One Africa TV's #LearnOn1. That's why we bring free quality supplementary lessons that are 100% Namibian, compliments of NMH's MyZone. Lessons include early childhood development programs and primary school lessons. These air on One Africa TV every weekday from 9 to 11 a.m. with repeats from 2 to 4 p.m. There's so much to learn with #LearnOn1. Invite learning in.
Every Saturday at 7 p.m., you can stay true to Namibia sounds with the Valentine's True Music Sessions. Only on 99 FM. Stay tuned. Stay true. There's no wrong way. Valentine's. Not for sale to persons under the age of 18. Drink responsibly.
What do you think about this one, babe?
Let me go now.
You're the best.
Can I go now?
Sweetie, you're just getting started. 1 second, babe. I'm on the phone. Yeah.
What do you think about this one, babe? Babe? What do you say?
And looking back on the sports front this year, the Ramblers Academy and Worldwide Scholarship recently announced their partnership and launch of the International Soccer Academy in Namibia. Castro Ulumbu has more.
An incredibly high level of promising football talent identified in Namibia has prompted one of the world's leading football academies to begin the establishment of a permanent talent scouting and development structure in the country.
I'm so excited to speak to you today in celebration of our new relationship with the Ramblers family. Worldwide Scholarships has been in operation for over 20 years across the African continent, linking talent with opportunities. So for us, this opportunity has become something that is so momentous with the linking of talent from Namibia and the development of talent. As we partner and hold hands with Ramblers, the idea is to develop your youngsters, to develop the talent that they have, and to link them with opportunities. So what are the opportunities that Worldwide Scholarships has available? First and foremost, every child, I believe, no matter what, needs to have an education. Worldwide Scholarships is known all across Africa for linking youngsters with talented scholarship opportunities worldwide. In addition to that, we have now got incredible links in Europe, which will enable a youngster from Namibia to be able to take their talent to Europe immediately through our contacts and through our links.
Worldwide Scholarships hosted its first African Italia Soccer Showcase earlier this year. These trials saw 8 young footballers identified as potential candidates for European trials and 35 identified as potential candidates for scholarship opportunities with universities and colleges in the USA. Maraire further states that the talent has always been there, but with this partnership, the country's young athletes will have a much better chance of making it to the world's top professional leagues.
That is all we have for you. You can join us again for a repeat at 9:30, 6 a.m. and the Omnibus Saturdays from 9 to 2. From me, Maggie Forciero, and the rest of the team, till next time, it's good night.
The International University of Management, a Namibian university dedicated to its people's future, a hub of abundant opportunities.
We are IUM for life. We are IUM.
I like rhinos. I like them very much. Future here in this area is depending on the tourism. The future generation, they can see and they can benefit from their own resources. Animals like rhinos, elephants, the big five, you benefit from them and it must be respected. You are not feeding the rhinos, you are not giving them order, so it's a free business. I take 2 of my sons, which was little bit 5 years old. They were young guys. So they asked me questions. Why are we here? Why are we sleeping here? I told them this is our resources and this is our future. My first memory of going with my dad is that I learned new things. As I grow up as a man, I see an opportunity in it. So I decided to look for a job pertaining tourism. So that's when I was employed at Palamba. So I decided to go for tour guide studies because I grew up with the tourism industry, the wildlife, the rhinos and everything. to bring that experience to the tourists. You can see the hyena. The biggest change is I was employed, getting paid, and also I can now support my family.
It's a cultural thing. It's coming a long way. Even if you go to area like Tweefontein, area was a lot of paintings. You will see rhino engravings on the rocks. That is an indication that the interaction between human, especially the local communities, and wildlife is dating back. That intimacy relationship is coming for a long time.
We are right here now at Palmwag, and Palmwag is one of the big lodges in the heart of the desert. And as you can see there is Jumbo standing behind me, which shows it's really a tourist area. We do have elephants, lions, but as you can see, the desert is the heart of the rhinos. This is the main breeding area of the rhinos, is what we found here in this desert.
It's the largest free-roaming population of black rhinos that you find outside national parks in the world. It's a population that communities in the northwest have taken responsibility themselves in managing this population with the structures that government has put in place, more specifically the establishment of conservancies.
These people, before independence, they took it upon themselves and decided that wildlife is our heritage, and through history we've been living with wildlife. And having wildlife in your area is like having a garden.
Because of all these animals, we've got the communities that benefit from all this wildlife, and it's like a triangle that fits into each other. And the communities looked after the wildlife doing their own thing, and the communities benefit.
So already there were this intergenerational relationship between mankind and wildlife, and that bond is what our people actually wanted to see it continuing.
Very few countries have the wildlife that Namibia has. What is also important is the policies that Namibia has put in place, which also involves communities to be engaged in the management of the wildlife species and also to benefit from the wildlife resources.
Turn conservation into a rural economy, turn conservation into endless opportunities that would actually cater for those young people that have nothing else to do.
If it was not for rhino economy and tourism in this area, it was really difficult for young people to get or find a job.
We are conservation engineers. We make conservation work in an armed fence area, and through that, we want to turn the wildlife into the rural economy that will benefit the rural communities.
So we can see now wildlife is doing very well, the lodges are doing well, and the community is also benefiting. So it takes all three together.
Devastating hit over coronavirus fears. Airline industry is facing its biggest threat to travel since 9/11.
Since March, when COVID-19 hit Namibia, things actually become very difficult. In the first place, all the lodges closed down because of COVID-19. With us, say the Rhino Trust, we had some donors cutting on their funding. And then we had, in the same time, a poaching case of 2 rhinos that was poaching. We had less boots on the ground, and poachers could actually see. Now it's our chance to go in and do something. So COVID-19 was tough on all of us. Ginger Morning, who is one of our trustees, actually came up with the idea of, why don't we ask you to go to buy some gold for us and make gold bars, and then we sell them for the rhino conservation.
I was fortunate enough to have a chance to have lunch with Clive Johnson, the CEO of B2Gold in Vancouver, Canada. And I looked at Clive and I said, we've got rhinos, you've got gold, let's do something. Let's create a coin or a medallion or a bar using your resource to create a sustainable source of funding for rhino conservation for the future.
There was it. The gold was bought, the bars was made, and I think it was 31st of January that we launched the bars in Windhoek. And suddenly one morning I had an email from my office, from my finance person saying, these people don't have salaries. So I said, oh, what now? So I pick up my phone and I phoned Mark Doe. I said, Mark, I've got this problem. He said, but when we've got the fund already ready for you, you just have to apply, put a proposal in.
1,000 ounces of gold can make an enormous difference to the livelihoods of the communities that live up there. We are, in essence, providing income and providing a livelihood to the communities. In the absence of tourism, especially now with COVID-19, even prior to that, when we had such a bad drought, the communities became even more dependent on the natural economy.
The idea is to make this a fund that will last for the next 25, 30 years, or even longer. And a portion of that will be distributed immediately as needed. And in this case, the COVID-19 crisis necessitated us to distribute funds to pay salaries to help people in the field.
The proceeds of the sales from the gold bars will be going towards responsible NGOs. And we've identified Save the Rhino Trust as the key NGO. And IRDNC, one of the first organizations that was in the Northwest, Integrated Rural Development and Nature Conservation, so that ultimately the funds go to the communities and various aspects of their war on poaching.
To be able to support those hardworking men and women that are always in the front line between the poachers and the rhinos.
If it was not for B2 Gold and the golden bars, I think by now we should have been in big trouble.
By extracting the gold, you reinvest it in other renewable resources.
The gold that's coming out from the ground is actually protecting the wildlife that's working on the ground, which is a very good symbol for the others.
I wish this was my bar. This is the 500 gram gold bar. So you'll see on this side you've got the Etindeka Mountains and you've got the mother rhino with her calf. And then on the reverse side, we've got the serial number, you've got the Rand Refinery stamp, which is very important. Anywhere in the world, people will recognize the stamp and they will know that this bar contains 99.99% gold.
It is gorgeous.
We wanted to make a biggest contribution. And at Ballowwood, we see that as a way of giving back to the community.
Okay, so there you'll see the 500 gram bar.
Very special.
Feel the weight. It's incredible.
This opportunity which presented itself is absolutely a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity.
We're privileged to have this.
This is just absolutely gorgeous, and I think this showcase really what the project is all about.
It's from 24-karat Namibian gold.
I'm looking at these rhinos is put there like Miss World photogenic, I would say.
There are only 1,000 of these gold bars, rhino gold bars, in circulation.
As far as I'm aware, it's the largest single donation of any corporate to the conservation of biodiversity anywhere in Africa.
Therefore, we so much appreciate and would want to continue as a government to work with B2 Gold.
And the fact that it's happening here in Namibia is something that we can all be extremely proud about and very grateful to B2 Gold.
Thanks to having this literal pot of gold through the funding for the Rhino Gold Bar, we're able to step in now and make sure that those trackers are supported, and so are their families and their communities.
We make sure that people sustain their jobs going forward, and who doesn't want gold?
And the B2 Gold Rhino Gold Bar has come in at a really critical time now, particularly with tourism being closed off and those forms of revenue not coming in.
To say we have the biggest rhino population or black rhino population in the world, let it be for the rest of our lives. And it's that heritage that we have, it's our resource that we can all look after and protect.
It's our heritage. And it's also good that other people like B2 Gold are also seeing it that way.
It's actually a very nice link between the investor that buys this gold bar, the rhino tracker in the northwest of Namibia, and the black rhinos. It's an intergenerational thing. The rhino trackers teach their children how to track rhinos, their children get taught, and so it flows down.
This is something that I want my children to have, and that we leave a little bit of a B2 Gold legacy. And if I can be part of that as part of my family, I'd be very proud.
It can also become an inheritance for the generations of my own clan. My children, my grandchildren.
If we can bring that passion over to future generations and to hand that over to my children, and I hope that that same passion for conservation gets migrated over to my kids.
And what we've done together is create a sustainable source of funding that should outlive all of us.
You know, I think as far as B2 Gold is concerned, we couldn't have chosen a better target in which to put our efforts as far as the environmental and conservation pillar is concerned. And I want to stress there that the money that's going towards environment and conservation is actually going towards the people.
Rhino is for all of us, whether you are in Canada, whether you are in Vancouver, whether you are in the US. If you really want to see conservation at play with rural communities, I therefore humbly request each and everyone to join us on our Rhino tour and have a wonderful experience. This is what keeps rhinos on this planet.
I've done rhino trekking experience. It was just amazing walking in that landscape of the Kunene. And as we followed them, we could now find rhinos with the calf. We got the closest distance we could.
It's a warning sign.
And it was just amazing and lovely, something to experience that Namibia can offer. It's something that you have to do in your life.
You can be tempted to become bitter and cynical. You're tempted. You're not there yet. Maar jy het besluit, man, die ding wat ek aangedoen is, gaan my verbitter, ek gaan my verbitter maak. So you feel to give yourself over to those emotions of becoming cynical and you can also be tempted to take revenge. Paulus sê, you have been grafted, julle is ingeënt in Christus. Wat Christus is, moet julle wees. Wat uit hierdie boom uitkom, ek is die ware wynstok, ek is eintlik die bron waaruit julle lewe. Dit moet in julle vrug wees. Julle moet smaak soos ek smaak, sê die Here. Kan ek 'n amen kry? Ek hou niks meer van julle terug nie. Julle is opgegradeer.
India's Ranthambore Reserve in Rajasthan is home to the rare Bengal tigers. Every year, John Isaac, an Indian-born photographer, travels from New York City to document the lives of these majestic animals.
In the last 10 years, I think my interest has grown tenfold.
and I'm very particular about the survival of the tigers.
His goal is to make sure that people everywhere know about the grave danger Bengal tigers face: extinction. John holds seminars and photographic exhibitions from his visits to Ranthambore to raise awareness of the plight of these tigers. He's currently working on a book to document their dilemma due to an increasing human population encroaching on their territory. According to John and wildlife experts, each tiger needs as much as 9 square kilometers to survive, just under 4 square miles. The relationship between tigers and people has always been difficult, but now, with much less territory to roam, tigers often wander into human settlements.
The conflict between the villagers and the tigers has always been there, and then government tries to compensate. If a tiger kills a goat or a cow, they pay a certain amount to the villagers.
In the past, tigers used migration corridors or routes followed by wildlife for travel between summer and winter habitats. Now these pathways have been taken over by people who use them as living quarters and to reap firewood.
We are trying to work with the communities living around and trying to reduce their forest dependency so that we can conserve this corridor patch for the smooth and easy movement of tigers.
Jamuna Devi, a farmer, lives near one of the migratory corridors. She used to depend on the forest for grazing pastures. Now, thanks to a World Wildlife Fund initiative, Jamuna no longer needs to rely on the forest for her family's survival. The secret? Introducing new alternative crops closer to her home.
और ये तो अभी यही गई साल बोया है, ये आया हुआ कांदा है हम 25 रोज को तो तारीख को तो बोया ही है और रोज बा में अंतर तो आगा भूलने लगा.
The success of this project has led to even more changes. Jamuna decided to plant fodder for her cattle on her excess land to further preserve the habitat of the tigers. She has also switched to cooking gas so that she doesn't have to collect forest wood for fuel.
जंगल में सब दुनिया ने जहाँ छोड़ दिया तो सब बे होगी, कोई काम नहीं करे, लकड़ी को भी नहीं करे, जंगल में जाने से भी परेशान है दुनिया. गैस भेज दिया सबन के घर में, वे सभी सिलेंडर पकड़ते हैं और रुपया को कोई समझते ही नहीं है, अब भीतर भरा लावा.
Climate change also has a direct impact on the habitat of tigers.
The last 2 or 3 years, they say, there's been a drought. The rains have not been regular.
Climate change is a serious problem in this country, even it's in the continent. So keeping these forest areas alive and protected is the only solution. This year we have raised a nursery of 10,000 saplings. Forest department have shown their interest. They bought around 2,000-3,000 saplings.
The idea is to plant new trees to replace those lost to severe weather conditions and human activity. Poaching used to be a major threat to Bengal tigers. But thankfully, the number of big cats killed by poachers has plummeted due to measures